The holidays are full of many reasons for joy and rejoicing, but they're also full of many triggers that cause a lot of pain. How do you cope with these feelings? And here are some ways we think you should try.
Hi, I'm Jessica and this is Micah Marino, and we just want to give you some encouragement around this time of year because we know that during the holidays it's a very common time to feel triggered by forms of loss in your life or pain from the past or whatever you're dealing with. There's so many examples that I could give you, but some examples could be that you've lost somebody that's passed away in your life and you're really missing them tremendously. Another way is that there's a broken relationship in your life and you're missing that person. You're grieving over that loss. Maybe there's dysfunction in a relationship that's caused a separation from someone you love. Another type of loss could be you might be in a season in your life right now that's causing your security to be shaken. Maybe you're going through a lean season in your life and you're really stressed out.
All I know is that there are either healthy or unhealthy ways to cope with loss in your life. And so 3 quick ways that we want to share with you that I think are really unhealthy is the first is that we want to medicate or we want to numb out. And we usually try to find some easy, cheap, available, abundant source. And we do that because we don't want to face, we don't want to encounter, we don't want to think about, we don't want to look at, we don't want to remember. And so we find things to medicate us, to remove us away from those moments. And so all I got to say is those are unhealthy because what they do is they just prolong the problem. And they might give you a momentary reprieve. You might get that high or that buzz or that infatuation or whatever it is, but it's going to hit you in the face even harder than when it first happened. And that's the reality. Like alcohol. Alcohol is everywhere in the season of the holiday time, right? But remember, alcohol is a depressant, so it leaves you lower than where you were before. The second thing is compulsive spending or shopping. It's no secret that they're taking advantage of this time of year when people are triggered with all this loss to have Black Friday sales and all these different things to kind of get you in the store to buy and shop and consume. And the thing is we start using that as another form of medication because it helps us to instantly get that dopamine hit in our head and be like, oh, this feels good. I deserve this. I don't want to face this stuff anymore. You shouldn't, all those things we can kind of think of. The third way is lusting or unhealthy sexual gratification. And we use sex in a lot of ways or the sexual desire. And one way we cope is that we don't really regard or think about people in a healthy way anymore. We kind of objectify them, and guys are really good at that. We use other people as tools or ways to help us feel that sense of love or wanted or things of that kind of mask the pain that we're dealing with. And the thing is that when we keep doing that, it can develop further addictions. It can develop more of a squinching of your heart as far as being able to overcome and be in a healthy relationship or in a healthy space or a healthy frame of mind. And it can erode relationships. It can erode your heart. And really, at the end of the day, if we don't have healthy connections with other people because we're coping with loss or pain, we're in a worse off place. And so those are some areas or ways we cope in a unhealthy way.
Yeah. So how can we cope then in a healthy way that will bring us to restoration in our hearts, to on the path of healing? And there's 3 that I want to touch on today. It's redirecting, reframing, and rejoicing. Redirecting means when you are triggered by these feelings of sadness or depression or loss, you can redirect your thoughts because you're in control of your thoughts. Nobody else is in control of your thoughts but yourself. And so if those thoughts start to creep up in your head, you can literally tell them no. You can change the channel in your head to something that's more pleasing to think about. You can choose to meditate your thoughts on things that are good in your life. And the second way of coping that's healthy is reframing your situation. A good counselor of mine one time told me that I can look at my life and the situations and the circumstances in my life like a painting on the wall. If you don't like that frame that it has, you can reframe it. Take that frame off and reframe it by seeing it in a different perspective. You can find a different perspective in any context in your life. You just have to really put effort into that. You can choose to see it in a better way. The third that I want to talk about is rejoicing. Rejoicing is something that we're called to do as Christians. There's always something to rejoice over. And even in your deepest feeling of loss and pain and dread, you can take out, what I recommend is taking out a journal and just journaling everything that you're thankful for. Because the act of writing down the good things that are in your life, it brings your heart to a place of feeling gratitude, which brings on joy. And then you can rejoice over the things that are good in your life. Here is the best way that you can cope with your loss and pain in your life. When you are triggered by whatever that loss is, it brings on a feeling of separation. It brings on a feeling of loss and isolation in your life. But the one thing you need to realize is that that separation, that void that you feel in your heart over that loss, God is meant to fill that void in your life. And he promises that he will never leave or forsake you. You're not alone. In John 1:19, Jesus said with his own words, "My peace I give to you, and I leave with you." He doesn't give us the peace that comes, or he doesn't give us what comes from the world, but he gives us this feeling of completeness in him that we can only find in him. And he tells us that our hearts should not be troubled. And so let your heart not be troubled, because you have a God who loves you and cares for you so much, more than any person in the world could ever love you. And he is with you, and he's walking with you in this time. You're not meant to go through it alone. You're not meant to carry this burden alone. He says, those who are weak and burdened, cast your cares onto me because I care for you. For his yoke is easy and his burden is light, and you will find peace in him. And so there's your answer. He is your answer. He is the way you should cope. Pray to him, speak to him. He cares to hear from you. Read his word. There's so much truth to find in the word of God. And there's just so much more.
So we pray that you find ways to cope in a healthy way like this. If it helps you to know that people are praying for you, we would love to pray for you. You can comment. You can email us at marinos@everyheartrestore.org. And we want to see this as a ministry for you. You can share this with someone who's dealing with loss, and either in healthy or unhealthy ways. Encourage them. We hope that you like this video. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to our channel, hit the little bell notification so you know when we release a video. We try to do it every Tuesday. But we are on this journey with you because our desire is to see, no matter the loss, no matter what you're coping, is that God can restore every heart. We believe in that.
Yeah.
God bless you.